When you see me, what do you see? Do you see a young man who's unsure about his future? You see a well put together man who knows exactly what they want, just doesn't know how to do it? Or maybe you see neither of those. You see just a boy who doesn't know what's going on. And to be honest, I could be all three of those. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I am. But I haven't really dedicated enough time or even thought about this question at all. I mean, I don't even look at myself in the mirror unless I have to, which is like if I'm brushing my teeth or washing my face or whatever. I don't really appreciate how I look, let alone consider how I'm perceived. Yet at the same time, I will sit and overthink everything, overthink what people might think if I do this, what people might think if I do that, all of this weird stuff. And it's just, there's no point. There's no point. But before I get off on a side topic, I want to preface this video, if that's the word, by um, explaining kind of what brought me to it. I've wanted to do this for a long time. I think this is my second video on the channel. If not, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm making these videos for myself anyway, but and for anyone who may need to hear my experiences or um, a second opinion if they're sharing them. But I haven't really I do a whole lot of planning and thinking, but then I don't actually do it. And that's something I'm really trying to break. And I'm doing a pretty good job so far from what's going on. But I know that if things get stressful, or if I think things can get stressful, even if I'm not like super uh, stressed out, if I get uncomfortable, then I just bunch up and hyper focus on what I think I know I can do. So that's something that I'm gonna really try to avoid this semester. But something interesting I found was what AI had to say about when I about its perception of me. So basically, while I was on a road trip, it was about a 5 hour trip, so a lot of time to kill. I basically just explained to AI kind of my psychology and what I think and everything that I'm like kind of going through. Not like trauma dumping, but like just speaking with, AI just to pretend that I have someone that's uh like understands everything I'm saying. Obviously I have family and I couldn't be more grateful, but I'm not the most outreaching person. So at least AI, I can at least act like I'm doing a little bit better. But then um it gave me this. And so what this is, I printed it out. It's a nice analysis of me and my flaws and kind of what it seems like my goal for breaking them this year or next year or whatever. Point is that it starts now. I don't care how long it takes. It starts now. No more trying to get all perfect. So we're just gonna skim through this. I wanna just share this. So starts with background and context. So over the past several years, I've noticed a pattern in my life where I prioritize perfection and over preparation over action. That's true. I often anticipate the worst possible outcome in my academic, professional, and personal life and attempt to avoid them by meticulously preparing or delaying action until I feel ready. Now, I know I'm not the only one who suffers from this, but it really is like an unspoken, you know how people say that, what's the silent killer? Um, Sleep is the silent killer. Something's the silent killer. This is the second silent killer that nobody talks about. It's just like people will tell you, how to and how to do all this stuff. But if you sit and overthink it and get paralyzed in thought, then that's just as bad as not doing it, if not worse. I would say worse because then you're losing sleep over it. Yeah, it's a lot. So examples include avoiding internship. Oh, it's gonna call me out now. So avoiding internship applications because I fear rejection or not meeting the perceived requirements. That's true. Postponing participation in social events or extracurricular activities until I feel fully prepared. That also sounds like me. And prioritizing perfection in small tasks while neglecting the bigger goal of experiential growth. That is especially with coding. If you don't know, I'm working to become a software developer, and that could not be closer to the truth. Really, I've had my mind set on it and my eyes set on it for so long. I mean, over a year now. Yet it's still, um, I mean, yeah, I made a term project, it's not like I've never made a project, but I am pretty much right now having to trace back my steps because the way I learned wasn't the best way. Um, I still got the concepts down, but that's besides the point. So these behaviors have often backfired, creating what can be described as self-fulfilling prophecies, where like I try so hard to avoid something and overthink it so much to prevent that failure that it ends up usually happening anyway, indirectly, whether it's a different way than I thought or just indirectly. It's really bad, and it's happened the majority of the time. So, for a reflection of character, through my introspection, I didn't even know that was a word like that, and discussion with ChatGPT. This was January 10th, so yeah, about a week ago. Several observations about my character have emerged, such as high self awareness, perfectionism, analytical thinking. I tend to plan and prepare extensively before acting, sometimes at the expense of actual progress, and introspective yet cautious. So I enjoy reflection and self improvement, but my caution can limit my real world experiences, which is very true. And then out of nowhere, sometimes I just go left field and just do the complete opposite, and I'm so like ready to do whatever that I don't really consider all of the risks when it comes to doing that. A perfect example is traveling. I really like to walk around, which is very dangerous for me. I still have not fully grasped how dangerous it is, and I'm really blessed to still be alive after the places I walked. But though you could just drop me in a city and I will enjoy it and explore, walk around. I'll find something to do, but I can't do that forever, and especially not in this world. So now, as identifying the problem, we found a few things. One, the fear of failure or rejection arising. So don't be afraid to fail, whether it's approaching women, whether it's your grades, whether it's whatever. What's the worst that can happen? I'm sure you already think about that if you are like me. But have you thought about what the best that can happen is? That's something I'm trying to train myself mentally to do. And I've actually done it a lot more since this conversation with ChatGPT than I realized. So I'm making progress. Um, Excessive preparation or delay occurs to guarantee success, which is the opposite of life. I'm telling you, life is never perfect. Life will hit you like a truck, whether you like it or not. It doesn't all line up like it looks like it does in the movies or the people that are successful. You don't know what the majority of the people that are successful actually had to go through to get to it. It may seem easy to them or easy for them from your perspective, but you don't have any idea at the end of the day, unless they did a documentary or something about it, which is pretty rare, or a book. People do seem to do those. Opportunities are missed because conditions are never perfect. That's something I'm really trying to fill that hole in. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities that I just overlook or don't consider myself a part of because I don't feel ready or good enough. And then self fulfilling prophecies. The fear I try to avoid manifesting because inaction prevents success. So this pattern applies across multiple areas, including internship applications, social engagement, personal projects, or hobbies, like borderline every aspect of my life, which it sucks to say, but it's true. Um, but now some insight and observation shares that self-awareness, all right, Duolingo. See, you can already tell there's one task I'm behind in, but I don't stress about it as much anymore. Ever since I lost that like 300 something day, that's my besides the point. So self-awareness alone is not enough. Reflecting on my behaviors is valuable, but reflection must be paired with action. You can't do a bunch of just thinking and planning and then not do anything with it. And then it's even worse if you go out your way to make sure you don't forget. Like for example, I use notes to make sure I don't forget really important things, and it just lives in your head, and it makes you, the more things that you have that you want to do, especially if you're very ambitious, the more it just affects your mental and probably makes you lose sleep. I mean, I don't know if you can tell. I'm still trying to learn how to even tell other than like really baggy eyes if I'm getting enough sleep. But it's like I'm sleeping the right amount of hours, but I guess I'm not getting that deep sleep that really I don't know. I'm really trying to figure it out, but that's another side tangent. So perfectionism can limit growth. Waiting for ideal conditions often results in missed opportunities. That's very true. Like I said, life hits you like a truck. Fear is often the driver. Many of the delays and over preparation stem from anxiety rather than external constraints. And finally, action creates momentum. Taking imperfect steps often leads to progress and reduces fear over time. And I really want to touch on this because this I have this has been the best week in a minute for me, which is crazy because it came right after a very long struggle of me being sick on top of a very unhealthy sleep schedule. Like I'm talking, there was one day where I slept for like 13 hours straight, and it was just really bad. But it was Christmas break, so you sometimes have to make exceptions. But I really didn't like it, and I mean, as you could tell from the first video, I'm pretty sure I posted around New Year's. It's I'm only going up from here, and my first steps was to start regulating my daily core exercises. It's something I've been trying to do for a while. There was an app that I was using that did it, but that was just like, oh, 3 exercises up, you're done. But I just went back to my roots. I went back to one of my notes, which I had a whole list, and the main reason why I didn't ever stick to it or follow through with it was just because I never got consistent with it because it's not easy. I did it every practice for cross country in high school, but then you have me, who I said, let's just get it done. I've went to sleep every day since I moved back on campus at 9:30. I've woken up at supposed to be 6:30, but now it's 6. I'm not gonna get into that, but if you're not in college already, you're gonna love it. And so, so I've just every day gone up, done daily stretches, and done the exercises, and it's so insane to see how fast you can grow, even though it's not like perfect. If you're not focusing on being perfect and you're more focusing on just getting it done, it's like night and day compared to the beginning of the week where I was struggling just to do 20 push-ups or like do like the cherry pickers. Like I was struggling, and then and fast, and like my legs and everything were like really tight. And then by the end of this, with all the stretching and exercises, like this morning, I was surprised. I did the 20 push-ups without a break or anything. I didn't like, it's gotten to the point where my stretching doesn't really feel like stretching anymore because it's not super tight. So I can't tell if I'm like stretching enough. But it's just insane how fast progress can move. And that may be nothing, but that feels like a lot to me. And that's even more of a motivation to keep going because I don't want to go back to where, I'm struggling to do all of these things because then you guys start from the bottom up. So I'm doing that. I've eaten very healthy. Today was a less healthy day, but it was more out of choice than anything. Didn't feel like I was like uncontrollably eating or anything. I didn't eat anything without choice. And once I ate something bad, like hot chips, for example, like you can really tell if you similar to the exercising, you can tell how like different it feels like once because I was eating all vegetables, salad, like all this kind of stuff that I've just been really good with eating this whole week. And then today I ate these hot chips and I mean still even right now it feels weird. It doesn't feel good. It feels like my stomach is upset. Like it doesn't feel like it would or like it used to when I was eating all unhealthy every day and it's what I know. It feels like it's just like moving with you and it's disgusting. So highly recommend if you have any similar goals or even just anything in general it applies to um that you are thinking about doing, just go for it. I mean, I'm in the process of doing that right now with coding. The main hurdle was that I didn't have, I had 5 gigabytes of data. So I was very tight on space. But now I just I invested in external SSD. And now I have the freedom to go whichever path I choose. And it's all a matter of time management and curiosity and approach. So I'm really excited for what these next few weeks have in store. Even with the classes, I'm excited for classes. So I can highly encourage action, creating momentum. And if there's anything I've learned about myself, it's that I I'm like I'm like a balance, or yeah, I'm like a balance. So once that momentum goes one way, once that weight is put in that direction, I'm staying there unless I feel for some reason that, something needs to change. But then once you put whatever tension or whatever stress or whatever that to make it go the other way, then it's the exact opposite. And I end up hyper neglectful, hype, if that's even a word. Like I'm the opposite. I don't want to do whatever because it's like I just it's always one or the other for me. There's no like half doing what I go all or nothing, which I really need to break. Which leads us to the action oriented plan that ChatGPT gave me. And I'm gonna wrap up this video soon because yeah, it's hitting like 18 minutes. But the goal is to break the cycle of perfectionism and avoidance and start living a more full, meaningful, and happy life. That's actually my words that I said. I remember that. So, step one is by reframing your mindset. You must replace I must be perfect with I can act now, learn along the way. And in fact, I might just eradicate the word perfect from my vocabulary. We'll see because I really hang on to that word way too much for no reason. Acceptance, accept rejection or setbacks as feedback, not failure. They say I took an L or you're taking L's or whatever. It's like you're taking losses. But what did I think of? I don't even know what I thought of this, but maybe L's isn't losses, it's lessons. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure I'm not the first person to slide to that, but maybe it's taking lessons and nobody says that. Recognize that fear of failure often causes the outcomes I fear and act anyway. Because you're not going to lose. What's the worst that can happen if you try? It doesn't work. What's the best thing that can happen if you try? You got what you wanted. Like, I mean, I know which one I'm choosing, especially now after actually experiencing some of it. And then step two will be micro action approach. So break large tasks into small, achievable steps. Don't just go for the big picture. Make little milestones. An example for me personally is these internship applications that I need to start applying for. like tomorrow, like right now. Instead of waiting for my resume to be completely perfect and ready, I'm just going to um, make it the best that I think it can be, and then go from there. I keep on trying to wait until I have this and that to add or whatever, but like I'm just wasting days by doing that. And to me, it seems like wasting time at surface or saving time because you're not spending time applying to uh, companies that you believe you'll get rejected to. Kind of like with scholarships, but then at the same time, who says you're gonna get rejected? It's not your choice. So why limit yourself? That's just weird. So repeat weekly to build momentum and reduce anxiety. That's what I'm kind of doing right now, and it's really fun. The main issue, or not even an issue, but a bigger hurdle I've had is building my confidence, eye contact, and all that stuff. But I'm hoping that with this channel that I can improve on that too, as well as other things. It's not like I'm not taking uh any action. I'm joining clubs and everything. I'm very happy with my start to the semester. So consistent practice as well. Dedicate 30 to 60 minutes a day uh, to goal oriented tasks. That we'll see how it goes. I haven't really stuck strictly to my schedule. That starts Monday, Martin Luther King Day. I will really start um, focusing on, like, I already mapped out my schedule, so I'm going to see how well it actually works. And obviously, I wrote it with a pencil. So if things change, I'm not going to freak out or collapse. But learning how to be ready for unexpected outcomes and be organized is two essential things that I really believe in. So expand beyond comfort zone. Go to those social events. Go to uh, life. As much as it would be nice to say that I could just walk alone in the middle of the night, walk down streets or whatever alone, and be better off alone for the rest of my life. Like, as much as I want to say that that's realistic, it's not. And especially in my field, even though many people think that software engineers or software developers or whatever they may think that they don't need that many social skills, but you do, even public speaking skills. And finally, reflection on action, or reflection with action rather. So continuing to journal and reflect. I don't know if I'll ever consistently journal. I might just go back to what I did before, where I would journal some random question I have during the day so that I can think about it when I'm trying to go to sleep. If I struggle sleeping again, that was a fun little thing I did, but I didn't do it for longer than like a week. So here's my personal commitment, and this is the most important thing for me of this video. And then after that, I'll end it there. But this is really important, and I will come back to this, and we will even have like checkpoints, whatever. But this is really important. I, Carmine Strumman, commit to actively breaking the cycle of perfectionism and avoidance by a taking taking imperfect action consistently in personal, academic, or professional life. B, engaging with opportunities that expand my experiences and interactions with others. C, leveraging my self awareness as a tool for growth rather than a substitute for action. And finally, D, embracing failure or setbacks as learning opportunities. Everything is learning opportunity. This is my first formal acknowledgement of the challenge and my roadmap for progress, developed through self reflection and consultation with ChatGPT on January 10th, 2026. So, just a reflection note. I don't know what this is about. I haven't read it, but this document marks the beginning of a transition from being extremely self aware and focused on perfection to being a person who acts, learns, grows through experience. Yeah, that's it. Grows through experience. I recognize that life is a combination of blessings, challenges, and the consequences of my own patterns. And I am committed to moving beyond fear based avoidance to a life that is more meaningful, full, and happy. So, with that, um, I would say if you have something you're thinking about, just do it. You don't need to wait until New Year's. You don't need to wait until things are lined up, the stars are whatever. Just do it. Just do it. It's working out for me so far. I mean, who knows? I might look like a zombie by the end of the semester, but am I worried about the end of the semester? No. I'm doing everything I can right now to make sure that I can make right now me happy. Otherwise, then it's going to be a whole lot of preparing for the future, and then you're going to be pissed if that future ends up being how you avoided it or what you wanted to avoid anyway, which has happened to me before. So with that, um, that's all I got. Comment down below if you got any advice or questions or anything. I don't know. I'm not a YouTuber, but yep, that's about it.